Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, my name is Nadia and my channel is all about makeup, what makeup is good, what makeup is bad, and what I think you should spend your money on. So today we are going to be talking about some cream blush. I have the Glossier Cloud Paints right here. I have these 3 shades and I have some thoughts on them as well. So if you want to see what I think of this product, if I think it's worth the 18 bucks, and what these shades look like on my cheeks, then let's go ahead and get into it. So the first shade that I have right here is the shade Dusk. Now these blushes are a cream gel formula. They are a little bit different from anything else that I've tried in the past. So they come out of a tube like this, and I don't really love this packaging because, as you can see, like way too much of this comes out. And I heard that when I was looking at reviews when I first started looking into these things, and I was like, oh no, like I'm gonna be fine. I'm just gonna squeeze a tiny little amount and it's gonna be fine. But no, like these things, doesn't matter how good of a squeezer you are, they are gonna squirt out way too much product. So this I like to apply with a stippling brush just like this, and I just pat it onto my cheeks right along my cheekbone. I like to go just above where I would contour and go in this line because I feel like that gives your face almost a contour. So this shade is one of the first ones that they came out with. It is called Dusk, and it was one of the original 4 shades that were all very light and sort of pink toned before they came out with these other 2 that I have. So these shades I feel like have a slightly less pigment to them, and I just wish that they would have been consistently either super high in pigment or pretty or a little bit lower in pigment. So this is how I like to apply this blush, using a stippling brush like this one. I have this one from e.l.f. right here. It was like $3, so I would highly recommend getting this one or a duo fiber brush a lot like this one because it just distributes the product really nice and evenly. They say on this package that, oh, you should just take off a little bit on your finger and pat it into your cheek using your fingers. I would not suggest that for any of these shades because when you pat it in with your finger, it leaves these marks where your fingers were and it just does not blend in correctly. So I would really suggest using a brush unless you want to be really careful and just like very light when you tap this in with your fingers, because otherwise it'll just become like a patchy mess. And that's what I found with all of these shades across the board. If you use your fingers to apply them, it's just not going to be a nice finish. So obviously I applied a lot because this is a blush swatch video. If I didn't want to have this much, I can just go right over it with a sponge. And that's what I really love about this product and any cream blush really, is that it's so much easier to remove product than it would be for, say, if you put on this much of a powder blush. This would be a lot harder to remove. So you can just go over it with whatever's left on your beauty blender or even just a blank one like this, and it'll just tone it down a tiny bit. So there is the finished look, and I'm going to zoom you guys in and show you what it looks like close up. When you're applying this shade in particular, Dusk, I would not suggest tapping off your brush after you tap into it like you will with the other ones. Just tap into it with your stippling brush and just go straight onto the cheeks, and that's because this one is a little bit lower in pigment than the rest of them. For anybody who is my skin tone or lighter, I would say that this is a really good neutral brown type of a blush, but for anybody who's deeper in skin tone than me, I wouldn't suggest this particular blush or any of the 4 original very light shades that they came out with, just because I think that they're a little bit lighter in pigment and they're just not going to have enough impact if you have a deeper skin tone. Okay, so I just took off that last blush and then I put on some concealer where I had it before. I don't have any foundation or anything on my face. And now I'm going to show you the shade Storm. So this one I got because I do like berry blushes on occasion, but I think for me, they just don't suit me as well as peachy or like brown tone blushes. But this one on my mom looks really good because she has very fair skin and neutral to neutral warm undertones, and it just looks really good on her. So if you have a lighter skin tone than I do, don't be afraid of this blush because it might look a little bit scary, but once you sheer it out, it'll just look really beautiful. So I took a little bit of this one out on my hand, and this one is very pigmented. So you can see when I spread it out a little bit, just a little bit of the product goes a long way. So I spread it out, and now I'm going to tap it off on the back of my hand as well, and just go on the apples in that same area I went before. Okay, and here is this next blush. This is Storm. It just looks a little bit too red toned on my skin tone, so I think if you had either a neutral or cooler undertone, this would look really beautiful on you, or if you were just fairer, this would look really great. But if you have very deep skin and a red undertone, I think that this would be very complementary to your skin tone, but on me, I just don't love it. So I'm going to show you a close-up on this one. Okay, so I just took off that last one and reapplied concealer where I had it before, and now I'm going to go in with my favorite blush, and this is in the shade Dawn. It is this bright orange. It looks so beautiful on people with a yellow undertone. I think that anybody with deeper skin tones, this will look amazing on you. So this one is my favorite, and you only need the tiniest little bit, and this is where this packaging really annoys me because the opening in this is just too large for the consistency of this product. So just too much comes out when you try to squeeze out just a little bit, and it's really annoying. So I'm going to do the same thing, just spread it out on my hand, and this time tap it off like I did with that Storm color, and then go into my cheeks. So you might have seen me go like this and create like a rounded part of my cheek right there, and then that's where I focus the blush so that it creates like a contoured effect, and then I just go into the onto my cheekbone. I think it has a very mature look if your blush goes like right along your contour. I love that look. I think it really shapes your face really well. So this is my favorite one. I just really love orange blush, orange lipstick, anything like that. So I'm going to zoom you guys in and show you this one and then come back with my final thoughts on this product. Okay, so I really love this blush. I think that it's a really good formula. It goes onto the cheeks really nicely. It's really easy to blend out. Like I said before, I would not suggest applying this with your fingers because it'll just pick up the product as you're trying to pat it in, and it just does not give a nice application. I would really suggest going to Target or Walmart, just picking up this $3 e.l.f. small stippling brush. It's really easy to spread out that product really nicely, and it just gives a flawless airbrushed look. As for the wearability of this blush, I don't think that it wears nicely. I tend to not wear foundation, and so I just have concealer in places where I need it, but this blush, as it fades throughout the day, it sticks oddly in those places where I have a different texture. So where I've put concealer before, it'll fade around where I've put concealer, and then it just looks a little bit blotchy, so I don't like that aspect of it. Also, I think that this looks best if you have foundation underneath of it, and it lasts the best if you have foundation underneath. But if you don't like to wear foundation like me, I would really suggest setting it with powder. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of powder on this is a Wet n Wild contour brush. So I'm just picking up a little bit of powder and setting it. And this will tone down the blush, and it'll make it last all day without getting splotchy. So this is the best way that I've found to deal with that blotchiness. Also, if you set it with powder, if you bump your face throughout the day or if you touch your cheeks, then it's not going to rub off in those places. I did a test where I was wearing powder on one side and no powder on the other, and if I would bump this side of my face or bump this side of my face, with the powder over top, this side would stay, but without the powder, it would just come off. So I would really suggest wearing powder over top of it. But other than that, I really love this product. I love the colors of this. I do think that if you have a deeper skin tone, you should go for this or this shade, just because they have more pigment and they're going to show up on your skin. If you have a warm undertone, I would go for this one right here, the shade Dawn, and if you have a cool undertone or a red undertone, go for Storm. If you have a lighter skin tone, the shades Dusk and those other three very light shades would look beautiful on you. I think that this is a really great product, and it's really easy to apply. It lasts all day, especially if you set it with powder, and I really love this product. I think that it is It looks really beautiful on the cheeks, and if you love blush, I would definitely suggest picking this up. And that's it for my review today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this, more product reviews to know what is good and what is bad. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.